She the queen. She the queen. Yeah, that's Queen Esquire. Legal trouble, she getting you out the fire. Another dame, she solving another case. Cause she litigate with dignity and grace. She the queen. Yeah, that's Queen Esquire. Legal trouble, she getting you out the fire. Another dame, she solving another case. Cause she litigate with dignity and grace.
Hello, litigators and opinionators. Court is now in session. You guys, so the fight continues for Shanquella Robinson to pursue justice. I am very proud of Ben Crump for continuing the fight. There has been a recent press conference that has been conducted at a HBCU in North Carolina at the Livingston College. So we are going to take some time to watch that press conference. But before we watch the press conference, I do want to take a look at the news coverage that has been conducted in North Carolina. So we'll take a look at that first, and then we will look at the press conference that just happened. So I'm excited about that. I'll see if I can try to play it through without YouTube hating on a sister. But let's play this first.
Shanquella Robinson's family once again pleading for her suspected killers to. Well, tonight the calls for justice continue. Shanquella Robinson's family once again pleading for her suspected killers to be arrested. Robinson died during a trip to Mexico, and a medical examiner said the cause was a broken neck. You'll remember the Robinson family attorneys recently rallied in Washington and wrote a letter to the president and Secretary of State. Today, that same group speaking out at Livingstone College in Salisbury. WCNC Charlotte's Julia Kaufman shares why they want the suspects extradited to Mexico.
Justice for Shanquella Robinson.
Justice for Shanquella Robinson.
A cry for help, Shanquella's family says, has gone unanswered. Her sister Quilla Long and mother Salamandra Robinson asking why the suspects have not been arrested.
They had a video that went viral. The whole world seen the video, and there's been no arrest since October the 29th. What kind of system is this?
Family attorney Ben Crump argues Mexican authorities have concluded their homicide investigation and have a warrant. So the only thing left to do is extradition.
If America isn't going to prosecute, let's let the Mexican government prosecute. Let's don't stand in the way, not one day longer.
To be extradited, a suspect must first be found and arrested. Then, according to the Department of Justice, approval is needed from federal court and the U.S. Secretary of State. The DOJ says extradition requests can take months and even years to be heard in court.
Why is it taking so long? What is going on? It gets to the point where we have to question our government.
Advocates say this call for justice happening at an HBCU when Shanquella also went to an.
So did you guys hear that? What the reporter said is that extraditions can take months and even years. So we may be having this fight for Shanquella for a long road. Are you guys in for a fight? It's going to really be a testing time frame to see who really cares about this young lady and cares about justice, because it's going to take consistency and persistence to fight for this young lady, because this process can take months, if not years. That's what the authorities are alleging. But I am proud of them to keep this fight going at the HBCU. And what this reporter is actually going to say is that Shanquella actually attended an HBCU. So that's why it's a symbolic meaning for her to have her parents and her attorney go to the HBCU to have this press conference, because Shanquella went to HBCU. I would hope that they would have an HBCU press conference at her college where she graduated from also. That would be wonderful. So I hope they go to her college where she attended, where she's alumni, and have that same press conference. That would be very powerful. So let's continue to watch what she has to say here.
At an HBCU when Shanquella also went to an HBCU is on purpose.
We must remember that Black lives matter.
That's right. Amen. That's right. Amen.
And the justice for Black lives matters.
To further their calls for equal justice and
Black
help
lives
from the
matter.
State Department, Crump says he plans to meet with the U.S. Senate's Foreign Relations Committee and White House officials sometime after April 1st. Julia Kaufman.
So that's what I'm talking about, guys. This is why I love Ben Crump. This is why. I don't care what anybody says, and that got something to say about Ben Crump. Ben Crump gets things done, and he's effective. He's efficient. He's a fighter. When he fights for something, he will not stop until justice is served. So that's what I'm very happy about. I want to play this first clip of the press conference, and I'm going to move on to another channel to play it. But I'm at least play the first part of it on this channel, and then we will play the rest on another channel. Actually, we'll see. I might play it on this one. We'll see. Because this gentleman that's about to speak, I think he might be the president of the school. I don't know, guys. But this man is pretty captivating. So I wanted to play his portion first before we go into Ben Crump's part of it.
Where our fight for justice continues. The beat goes on, whether or not it's community building, as we just did.
It's doing that again. Hold on, guys. I don't know what's going on. Okay, there. All right, guys, there it is. I had to get the sound to work again. I don't know what that was all about, guys. Hold on. We are about to get this going. All right, it should be working now.
Where our fight for justice continues. The beat goes on, whether or not it's community building, as we just did with these panel discussions, or whether or not it's press conferences where we lift up names of those of us who need us to scream a little bit louder so we can have the raindrops of justice drip down upon us today. And today at this press conference, we're here to talk about Ms. Robinson.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're here to talk about someone who we did not forget about.
Amen.
We're here to talk about a travesty and an injustice, but even more importantly, we're here to have a call to action.
Yes, sir.
We talked a lot about holding our leaders accountable and holding our friends accountable, but it's time for Washington, D.C. to act so that we can have justice in North Carolina.
That's right.
It's time for Washington, D.C. to act so that these parents can begin the opportunity to grieve.
Yes, sir. Man.
So that they can actually sleep at night knowing that they fought for justice for their loved one.
Amen.
I love fighting alongside Ben Crump because I know that drum beat never stops.
Amen.
He's a drum major for justice, a drum major for peace.
Thank you, bro.
And even when he's not necessarily doing the work that you always see on TV, he's always fighting.
Amen.
And so Ben asked me, he said, Bakari, will you help us echo those calls?
Exactly. I had to stop it right there real quick because what he's saying is right. A lot of people were complaining about why was Ben Crump not on this case. And they were like, man, he should have been to this case. When all along, back in November, back in December time, he had already been retained as their attorney. He doesn't always just go on the media and start doing these interviews. He was working behind the curtains. He had his co-counsel, Sue Ann Robinson, who was working with him, doing their investigation and researching the case first before they were ready to come to the public with the information that they found.
To Washington, D.C. to get this family some justice.
Amen.
And I said, I'm a little boy from Denmark, South Carolina, but they look like they part of my family. And so we're going to continue that fight. We're going to have Ben Crump come up and speak. We're proud to be here on this illustrious, historically Black college campus where we've had these fight for justice before.
Yes, sir.
HBCUs are no stranger to this fight.
That's right. Daddy.
And so we're here again to scream loudly. And I will start by asking the President of the United States, the Vice President, both of whom I call friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking for Merrick Garland, another individual I call a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking for Anthony Blinken, another individual I call a friend.
All right, now.
To do what's right and to do what's just, to do what's righteous and to do what's justice, which is to make sure that individuals are brought to justice for harming one of our beautiful Black sisters.
Amen.
With that, Benjamin Crump, please come forward.
Thank you, Bakari. Give Bakari a round of applause. Thank you for.
Man, guys, that guy, I don't know what it is about that guy. When he speaks, he's giving me the chills. That man is very captivating. Let me know in the chat who is he? Is he Is he the president or whatever of the college? I don't know, but whoever he is, y'all, he is very captivating. So I'm gonna play this part of it on another channel, guys, because I didn't want to keep using that person's channel. I wanted to use it on this mainstream channel here that I have it on, because this one is the longer version. So we're gonna go ahead and play it here on this channel. This is the Livingstone College YouTube channel.
To serve as a foundation for justice for Shanquella Robinson, and have evidence of and be national of lawyers. Thank you, Dr. Davis. And we certainly want to thank Equal Justice Now, our National Civil Rights
To justice for harming one of our beautiful Black sisters.
Amen.
With that, Benjamin Crump, please come forward.
Thank you, Bakar. Give Bakar a round of applause. Thank you for using your influence, Bakar Sellers, and your brilliance to always make the case for us. I want to thank so much Dr. Anthony Davis, the president of Livingstone College, for allowing this institution to serve as a foundation for justice for Shanquella Robinson. So thank you, Dr. Davis. And we certainly want to thank Equal Justice Now, our national civil rights organization, and what could be more prophetic than to have Equal Justice Now have a forum where we're demanding equal justice now for Shanquella Robinson.
That's right.
We have her beautiful mother, Salamandra, here with us. We have her sister, Quayla, here with us. We also have Mario Black from 1 Million Youth Voice.
Million Youth March of Charlotte and Salisbury.
Okay, and Salisbury. We have Dominique Calhoun, who is the president-elect of the National Bar Association, the largest association of lawyers and judges in America and abroad. We have Ms. Don Blagrove, who is the executive director of Emancipate North Carolina, who's going to address you momentarily. We also have Reverend Greg Drumright, who is the executive director and president of Justice for the Next Generation. We have a lot of special people here, but I'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge Scott Ixdale, who is the national chair of criminal justice reform for the NAACP nationally. And we thank all of these people because it's going to take a yeoman's effort to get simple justice for Shanquella. We have Jacob Blake Sr., the father of Jacob Blake Jr., who, as you all remember, was shot 7 times in the back in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Did not think it robbery. He knows about justice delayed. To stand with Ms. Robinson's mother and sister and their family to say, we won't forget your daughters. And so with that, I'm going to give some brief remarks, as Bakari said, and then we're going to hear from Reverend Drumright and Don Blagrove, Mario Black, announcing what their organizations are doing to stand in solidarity with the Robinson family. The developments, as you all know, Attorney Sue Ann Robinson, my co-counsel, and I authored a letter that we sent to President Biden and Secretary Blinken, asking them to do one or two things. And that was either to extradite the killers of Shanquella Robinson, because there's an outstanding warrant by the Mexican government based on the evidence, not just on the video, but there's evidence of autopsy that her neck was broke. That was the cause of death. And we see how her neck got broke based on the video. Or two, to accept the concurrent jurisdiction that the Mexican government has offered America to come and have a federal prosecutor prosecute the killers of Shanquella Robinson. And the reason that is an option, when you think about it, everybody involved were U.S. citizens. I don't have to tell you all this story. Her and these alleged friends went to Mexico for a vacation. And for reasons we cannot think of, it's inexplicable, whether it's envy or what, why they would murder. Why they would murder Shanquella. And it's still heartbreaking to think about the video. And so we have put the issue right at the footsteps of the White House.
Thank you, Tom.
We expect Senator Menendez, who's over the Foreign Relations Committee, sellers, to have a meeting with our legal team and the family, Tamika Mallory and others who have been advocating for justice, to explain to us why they can do all these things for other people where they have no video evidence. But when you have video evidence of what happened to this angel from Charlotte, you all are slow dragging. It don't make any sense to any of us. And then also we expect that we're going to have, whether virtually or in person, a meeting with the White House after the 1st of April. At least hear something from them in regards to our request. Now, they have been very cautious to say they don't want to interfere with the State Department and prosecutors, and we respect that. However,
First of all, I don't want y'all to miss that. Did y'all hear that they're going to be having a meeting with the White House in April? That is good, guys. That is good. But second of all, I got to comment on the White House. This whole, I don't want to interfere, hogwash. You could go and talk to them. That is not interfering if you can go and talk to them and say, hey, this case is really important to the administration. Please, I know that you're working. I'm not trying to interfere with your investigation, but I just ask that you prioritize this case. I'm encouraging you to prioritize this case because this case, deserves your full attention. That is not interfering. I feel like this administration is making up excuses. Okay, I'm not buying this whole, oh, we don't want to interfere. That is just so passive. I wonder if he was running for president right now in 2024, would he be saying that? I bet you if it was 2024 and he was up for election, he wouldn't be saying, oh, I don't want to interfere. I know Ben Crump is being nice because he's a very elegant man. But for me, I'd be like, I'm not buying this little excuse. You don't want to interfere, because it's not about interfering. It's about using your voice, using your influence to at least encourage. You can encourage. That's not interfering. You're not asking for details of their investigation. You're just probing and encouraging.
she was an American citizen. She was killed on a foreign land, on video. We expect for you to care about this Black woman just like you would care about any other American citizen killed in a foreign country on video. So we want you to use the full weight of your office to get justice, because as we talked about so eloquently and passionately today here at Livingstone College at the Equal Justice Now Forum, justice delayed is justice denied. And we're going to get justice for Shanquella Robinson. We're going to get justice one way or the other for Shanquella Robinson. Justice for Shanquella Robinson. Justice for Shanquella Robinson.
Justice for Shanquella Robinson.
Justice for Shanquella Robinson.
Justice for Shanquella Robinson.
Justice for Quail.
Emancipate NC will make a brief statement for you, and then Reverend Drumright. But we're going to hear from her mother and her sister finally before we take some of your questions. So without further ado, a great lawyer, a great leader, a great freedom fighter here in North Carolina, Ms. Dawn Blagrove from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Hello, my name is Attorney Dawn Blagrove. I'm the Executive Director of Emancipate NC. That's Blagrove, BLAGROVE. Emancipate NC is an organization that is committed to ending systemic and institutional racism, particularly within the criminal justice system. And I stand here before you today, not just as an attorney, not just as an abolitionist, not just as an activist, but as a Black mother. And I stand here to say to you that we must remember that Black lives matter.
That's right.
Amen. That's right.
And the justice for Black lives matters. It does not matter where this child was murdered.
That's it.
It does not matter the hue of the skin of the people that murdered this child.
Amen.
The only thing that matters is that there is a mother who is grieving.
Yes, sir.
And at this very moment, sees no avenue for justice for her lost child.
Tell it.
That is an indictment on America.
Mm-hmm.
That is an indictment on the criminal justice system. But most importantly, it is an indictment on the people who have the power to create justice, to stand in this moment and show America and the world that Black lives matter. Thank you.
Thank you. And next we will have Reverend Greg Drumright from Justice for the Next Generation come and greet you.
Good afternoon. I'm grateful to be back on the campus of Livingstone College, where Black college leadership has stepped up in more ways than one or two today to draw attention to the issues that continue to plight our community and specifically the next generation of Black and brown people in America. I've taken particular interest in this case, like millions of people across the world, because Shanquella wasn't just a Black woman, she was a young Black woman. As Attorney Blagrove said, her life mattered because at 25 years old, this was a young Black female entrepreneur. She was also an HBCU alum.
Yes, sir.
Graduate of Winston-Salem State University right here in North Carolina, where more HBCUs exist than in any other state in the country. I pastor a parish just 45 minutes up the road from here, where 90% of millennials and college students fill my pews each and every Sunday. I am standing with Shanquella's family today because that could have been a young lady out of my congregation. That could have been a young lady out of our neighborhood around the corner from our parish. That could have been one of the young ladies in my family. I've known Mario Black for nearly 20 years, and I'm joining the fight with the activists and organizers today. Justice for the Next Generation is standing with the Million Youth March here in Charlotte and in Salisbury, North Carolina. We're continuing our work with Attorney Benjamin Crump, Attorney Bakari Sellers, to stand in solidarity with this family to bring justice for Shanquella back to her family. I spoke with her family. I don't speak out on any case until I speak to the family so that I can understand who it is we're talking about today. And after speaking with this family, I am convinced, and I'm gonna do like Attorney Sellers did. I'm gonna call on my friends in Washington. I'm gonna call on Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clark, call him out, who I have full confidence in, who stood with our organization, Justice for the Next Generation, as we were fighting for justice for young Black folks in Alamance County. And I'm going to ask Washington to do this the right thing. We are urging the State Department to extradite the killers of Miss Robinson back to Mexico, where there is an outstanding warrant. As a clergyman, let me say one more thing. This morning, I woke up and my first meeting was on a call with college students as I am leading them through the prophetic book of Amos. Prophet Amos was one of the most poignant prophets in our biblical text, who spent most of his prophetic influence urging that there would be justice. Justice for the marginalized, justice for those who are poor, justice for those who are living on the fringes of the society then, and I would argue right now. And in the words of Prophet Amos, I would say, from chapter 5, verse 24, let justice roll down for Shanquella, yes, like mighty rivers of waters, and righteousness like a mighty stream. Justice for Shanquella Robinson.
Justice for Shanquella Robinson. Thank you so much, Reverend Drumright. The final person you were hear from before we hear from Miss Salamandra and her sister, Quella, is going to be a young man who hails right here in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg County area. He's a young brother who's been fighting with this family from day one. And so I thank him. I thank Until Freedom with Tamika Mallory and my son and the others who have been fighting when there was no press, nobody, because they said Shanquella life matters. And, you know, oftentimes they try to accuse us for only making noise and raising alarm if it's a white police officer that kills a Black person unjustly. Well, that is not true. It's not true. Anytime any person is killed unjustly, whether it's a Black person or a white person, we make noise because we stand for justice. And it does not matter if it is a cop or somebody in the community. If you kill a person unjustly, you should be held accountable.
That's right.
That is what equal justice is. And we want equal justice now. We don't want to have to come back 200 days later as Until Freedom is planning a big march on Washington, D.C. if they still haven't expedited these murderers. And so it is about never ever forgetting that Shanquella Robinson could have been your daughter, could have been your sister, could have been your best friend. That's what this is about. So without further ado, Mr. Mario Black, a great leader, a great civil rights leader for not just this county, but for all over America.
Good afternoon. I am Mario Black, founder of Million Youth March of Charlotte and Salisbury. Ms. Robinson and Quilla, come stand beside me for 2 seconds. Just stand beside me as I talk. As Attorney Crump has stated, I've stood with this family from day one, from really October to now. And my sole message and my purpose is to help get justice for Shanquella Robinson. This family have become my family. We did the official rally in December. I said this in Washington a couple of weeks ago. We did the official rally in December. We celebrated her birthday in January. In February, we did 1,000 pink letters to Washington, to Mexico, asking authorities to make sure that they do the right thing. March 3rd, Attorney Crump and Tamika Mallory, John Barnett, a bunch of us traveled to Washington with the Robinson family. We were in Washington making some noise and asking for justice for Shanquella. We was in me and Miss Robinson were in New York the week after that. Same thing, same message, justice for Shanquella Robinson. That's all we're asking for. President Biden, I said the wrong name in DC, but President Biden, Vice President Harris, do the right thing and let these messages from all these people get to Washington. No justice, no peace. Arrest the Cabo Six. Say it with me. No justice, no peace. Arrest the Cabo Six.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you so much, Maria. And now we're going to hear first from her sister, Shanquella, who has been, really pushing this. And you can only imagine if that was your blood, how you would feel. So she's not a lawyer or a commentator. She's going to speak from the heart about her sister. And this is very hard for her and her mother. Yes.
My mama did an interview about a week ago, well, a couple of days ago, and the person in the interview asked her, what would happen if she don't get justice? And I wanted to step in and say, well, in that case, then I need to change my occupation because we got the wrong people in the wrong place, the wrong job.
Absolutely.
Amen.
There's no way that it should be 5 months with a video in place
Talk about it.
and all kind of other information about the individuals that was on the trip with my sister. At this point, everybody in that room should be held accountable. At least one person should have been brought in for questioning.
Amen.
I don't understand it. We've been questioning since October the 29th of her death. We've been questioning and trying to figure out why is it taking so long? What is going on? It gets to the point where we have to question our government. And that's sad. And then it gets to the point where we have to stand up here and do press conferences. There's certain stuff that we shouldn't have to do when it's too much information is out there.
That's right. Let me say this. She's absolutely right. This is something that's easy. You have a video.
Facts are clear.
Right, I'm with Tequila, guy. I don't know about y'all, but I'm with Tequila. There's certain things we just shouldn't have to do. Why do we have to labor and slave and go over all this and travel and do a press conference tour all over the United States just to get justice? If they are working on the case and they could at least give us something to say, hey, we're having some difficulty with some of the processing, whatever, but we need time. Or something like tell the family and just say, hey, you're not allowed to disclose this information to the public, but this is the progress we're doing. At least tell them in a nice confidential meeting so that the parents are aware, this is what happens. What's going on with this administration? This administration seems very passive. They're not really doing anything for Black justice. And it was interesting because when President Biden was running for office, he was saying, if you're not Black, if you don't vote for me. That is a bunch of BS. What has he done for Black people? He keeps talking this good talk, but he doesn't walk the walk. And Kamala Harris too, she's quiet as a mouse. I haven't heard anything from her. She didn't even show her regards or empathy. And I know people are like, well, has anybody told Kamala Harris about this case? Guys, this case is publicized all over the United States. She knows about the case. She already knows, but she has not said one word. I just find that very appalling. And I'm with Tequila.
Ocular proof. Visual evidence. You have an autopsy telling us what was the cause of death. My law partner, Sue Ann Robinson, should not have had to go spend a week in Mexico trying to gather facts to do the job of government officials who can arrest people every day here in Charlotte and Salisbury with no evidence at all. You got all the evidence in the world. What is taking you so long? Why do we have to put such an effort for justice for Shanquella Robinson when we know what happened to her? Sometimes it's a mystery. I know Rasheem Carter in Mississippi, the young man who was lynched, everybody, you don't know. We know who the murderers of Shanquella Robinson was. The question is, why haven't they been arrested and sent to Mexico to face the evidence? Extradite them now. Now. And we're now going to hear from Miss Almondra, her mother, and then we're going to try to take a few of your questions.
Good evening. My daughter, Shanquella, was a great daughter. She was
know, she loved people, loved life. And I don't know how no one could have done this to her. It's just terrible that they had a heart. They didn't even have a heart to do her like that. You know, she would give you the shirt off her back. You know, she was a kind child, rose up to be lovable, love people. You know, and they done her like this. This is terrible. And then they had a video that went viral. The whole world seen the video, and there's been no arrest since October the 29th. What kind of system is this?
Right.
I just don't understand it.
We will get justice for your baby.
That's
We will get justice. We're gonna try to take a few of your questions, if you have any.
You were in DC earlier this month. You kind of talked about the diplomatic intervention. Has anything come out of that? Or have you talked to? I know you're saying you're going to take the documents to them.
Yes, we've Attorney Robinson and I have got the letter and the supporting affidavits and evidence to the White House, to the Secretary Blinken of the State Department as well. We sent it over to the Department of Justice, to U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland's attention. As I stated, we are expecting to meet with the Foreign Relations Committee, and we are expecting to have an audience with some members of the White House after April 1st.
And so, that's 3 weeks. We're going on 5 months next week.
We counted down 200 days. We've already said it in Washington, D.C. We know that the National Bar Association is going to be issuing a letter, and we understand that all the national fraternities and sororities and different civil rights organizations in that time leading up to 200 days are going to be issuing demands for our government to do something.
I just can't emphasize enough. That's a great update that we got from this, guys, is that Ben Crump's attorney Sue Ann Robinson are going to be, after April 1st, going to have a meeting with the White House. They're going to have an audience of some of the White House members and going to present the case. But again, they know about the case. I'm just so frustrated with this administration and how quiet they are about a lot of issues. They seem to be very passive. They don't address a lot of stuff. They just kind of seem to just kind of avert it over to that lady, Karen Jean-Pierre, and they don't say anything. And it's like, wow, what a weak administration. I'm sorry. I know some people love this administration. I'm sorry to offend y'all because I know y'all love y'all Biden, but this is my opinion. Again, I'm entitled to my own opinion. You may love and worship him. That's your choice. But me, I think that this administration is very weak. I feel that they're very passive on a lot of issues. When they are confronted with issues, then they're in their administration, they don't address it. They just run away like little scared puppies. And I don't like that. I don't like a weak administration. I'm just absolutely frustrated with them. And I don't know. I just hope for next year we could get some type of leader in the office that will really do some things, really be assertive. I want a nice, strong, assertive president that can stand up and stand his ground. If he's being confronted about something, he stands up and talks about it and addresses it. Of course, under the guidance of his cabinet and his those that are in his leadership, but still address it. Don't just sit there and be hiding in a closet somewhere because you're scared to address stuff, or you send out your little Karen Jean-Pierre to address it. It's like, and I'm not the only one. I know a lot of people are frustrated with this administration. I know they're doing some things, but I just don't really see much progress. They talk such a great talk when they were trying to get elected or win. When they got in office, I just kind of seen them plummet the ball. Like right when they got into the office, it was just a disaster. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. I'm venting. I know y'all love Biden. If y'all love him, I respect y'all's opinion. Please do not come for me because I don't think like you. Okay. And I'm not talking about y'all in the chat. I'm just talking to whoever watched this video later on and gets mad at me because I said something about their Biden and they worship Biden. I'm just saying this is my personal opinion and I'm entitled to that. I should be able to have my own thoughts. I don't feel pleased with this administration. They're too weak for me. I need somebody who's strong and assertive in the office.
I was talking to, I don't know if it was President Davis, but we were talking about, and maybe it was Attorney Sellers, about there's an outstanding warrant. Why isn't Mexico just coming to get the killers?
Right.
We the United States of America. Do we really think somebody gonna come on our national land and try to take an American citizen without having some agreement that that person could be extradited? And so the question really is, why isn't the State Department extraditing these killers? You know, we keep thinking about, you know, unfortunately, the racial dynamics. This is a black woman. And gender. Yeah. When it was Natalie Holloway, we did all kind of stuff.
Right.
It should be no different. No different at all for Shanquella Robinson. This beautiful angel from Charlotte, North Carolina. Did y'all hear about her character? I mean, what she used to do, she would braid little boys and little girls' hair. I mean, she was just so involved in the community. And for her to be killed in this manner and nobody do anything is a shame before God. We have to get justice. Yes, ma'am.
Have you gotten any sort of response trying to give any sort of explanation from any of the U.S. agencies as to why there is such a holdup?
Well, you know, they've told the family and they tell us that they are working on the matter. But it's just very difficult to believe. What are you having to work so hard on when you got a video and you got an autopsy report and you got a warrant? Mexican.
Right. I can't wrap my head around it. As a prior experienced criminal prosecutor, the evidence that they have right now would have been really solid evidence for me to take that to file. I would have been filed a criminal charges back in when I first got the case in November. I know the complexities in this case is because now there's the extradition portion of it, which is what's causing the hangup. Because if this happened in America, they would have been charged. They would have been arrested. All that would have happened back in November. So I get the complexity of it. And I do understand that I believe in my speculation is that the reason why this case is being hung up so much is because of the charges that Mexico filed in the first place. They filed a femicide. It's not recognized in the United States. And I think that's where the pushback is happening. Of course, the FBI is not going to release that information and Mexico's not. But I think underneath all this, Mexico is trying to get some type of bargain out of this to say, hey, if I change the charge, what are you going to give me? What are you going to give me if I do this? So they're using it as like a bargaining tool to say, oh, yeah, you know, if you want us to change it to, you know, homicide, then you're going to have to do this for us. What are we going to get out of it? So they're using this case as leverage because they know this case is a very valuable case to the American citizens. A lot of people are very enraged about it. So they know that. And so what Mexico likes to do, in my humble opinion, is use cases like this that have high profile aspects to them and use it as leverage and bargaining tools. That's my speculation, y'all, of what I think is going on. And they can't release that information. And it could be that Biden is already aware of the underlying issues, which is why he's being passive. But still, I feel like he should be more assertive. He's just hiding behind a closet. He hasn't took time to go visit this family. How come he hasn't gone to North Carolina to sit down with the family and show empathy? Like, he hasn't said one word. He just sends his little puppet, Karen Perret, Jean Perret, whatever her name is. He sends her to just handle all his work for him. And it's just like, no, you need to sometimes step up and say something. It's very simple for you to say, I apologize for what's going on. Like, what is really going on? It's like sometimes these politicians, y'all, they're not sincere in what they say. I say, if you Black, vote educated, okay? Don't listen to these little ploys that the politicians tell you that if you're not Black, you don't vote. You're not Black if you don't vote for me. Don't listen to that. Look at their past history and see what they really do for your community, because, and that's for any ethnic group, y'all. I'm not trying to narrow it down to Black people only. And what I like about Biden is he does fight for all ethnicities. It doesn't matter what your ethnicity is. If there's an injustice, he will fight for you. In fact, I have a personal friend. She is Caucasian, and her nephew was shot down by the officers, brutally murdered by officers. He's a white man because he was discriminated against because they thought he was some type of thug, a white man. And Ben Crump is representing my friend's family. So And, you know, he travels all over the US. He's representing my friend's family and getting justice for him, this white man. So I love that he doesn't see color. He's fighting for all justice. And that's what I think, justice for all people. We should all be unified together. I just wish that we wouldn't see color. I wish we would just love everybody, because that's just sad. We all bleed the same. We all have the same organs. We all can get the same ailments. We all die one day. Why does it matter what color you are? I don't understand it, y'all. All the hatred for certain communities is very, very incomprehensible. I can't comprehend it.
Authorities have already concluded the investigation. They've said that it was homicide.
The work is done.
The work is done. And so seems like the only thing remaining, Thomas Lucas, is for them to extradite the killers to a government that's ready to prosecute. If America isn't going to prosecute, let's let the Mexican government prosecute. Let's don't stand in the way not one day longer.
Period.
One more question.
What efforts can be made by individuals to raise awareness around this issue?
You know, I love what Mario Black said, that, you know, the letters. I mean, it matters the more we're calling, sending letters. You know, I thank April Ryan for asking the question at the White House briefing last week. That was very important, because we have to continue to use our voice for Shanquella Robinson, because she has no voice anymore. And I will hope and pray that if that was my daughter, somebody would think it robbery to say, when I get a chance to speak to power, to speak truth to power, and say, what are y'all doing about Shanquella Robinson? Now, I know there's a lot going on in the world, and I understand that. But this is an easy one, President Biden. This is an easy one, Vice President Harris. I mean, all you got to do is extradite killers back to Mexico. So what individuals can do, and hopefully being here on the campus of Livingstone College, we can have all the young people here on the college campus engage with this family to start a letter writing campaign, an email campaign where we just flood the emails at the State Department, you know, much of the way we had to do with Brittany Griner, and say, you know, when are you going to extradite the killers of Shanquella Robinson? That should be everybody every day emailing the State Department to where they thought they had to say, man, Crump and Attorney Robinson, yeah, okay, we're gonna address this now.
Right, there you have it. That's what you guys can do. People keep asking, what can we do? What can we do? You need to start writing these letters every day and mail it out. You don't even have to, it doesn't have to be a different letter. Just type out a nice, good letter. And speak your heart. Somebody asked me one time, well, what do you put in the letter? Speak from the heart. It doesn't have to be formal just because it's the president or whatever, or the FBI. Speak from the heart how you feel. If you're frustrated because of you not seeing progress, say that. Speak exactly how you feel. Speak from the heart. That's what you should put in there, what you're thinking. And mail that letter. And I've given you guys the addresses so many times. I'm going to have to do it again. I'll put it in the comments for this one too. But just save those addresses and send it out to those individuals. That's what you guys can do. And I'll also add the addresses that they have on their Instagram to that list that I had before. But just start sending that letter out every 2 weeks. Just send it out once and then wait, send it out another one, wait, send another one. That's what we can do. We can do that. We can send emails, but it's going to take a volume of individuals who are participants in this. And it's going to take a long fight, guys. It's going to be a long fight. It's not going to be something where it's going to happen overnight. It looks like it's going to be months, if not to years, to see justice, as what you heard that reporter say, because he heard from the FBI themselves saying that. So I would say it's going to be a long road. If you really care about Shanquella, you will continue to fight, and you will have to, the thing that you can do that will really be helpful is write those letters and send them out.
It shouldn't be this much effort. It should not be. It should not be. Last question.
I gotta ask, you've worked with hundreds of cases, thousands of conversations that you've had over your career. How does this story, how does the work that you have to put into this, how is it so different than the other stories and situations that you've had to work in the past?
You know, obviously, this is a little different than, say, a George Floyd or Breonna Taylor. Has similarities to Ahmaud Arbery and Trayvon Martin. When you think about citizens, killing citizens, you know, police get to argue qualified immunity, you know, all these things. Well, these are regular citizens. And when you commit a crime as a regular citizen, they come and arrest you. And so what's so different about this, Reverend Drumright, is why are they coming to arrest these people? It's like, Don, they're hiding in plain sight. I mean, they're going on about their life.
And we're in a state where there is legislation pending right now in the North Carolina General Assembly that is forcing sheriffs to cooperate with ICE. If we have a process in place to extradite people who have come to America from Mexico and from all over the world to seek a better life, why can we not employ those same resources and those same processes to ensure that people who are a danger to folks in the communities that they live in Charlotte as they walk the streets freely, where we've seen them on a video brutally murder their friend, why is it so difficult for us to get them to Mexico? Because I can assure you the extradition processes that we have in place for people who come here seeking refuge is much swifter.
Come on. Thank you. So we don't have to go reinvent the wheel, as Don Blake Grove is saying. They can do it. We will keep you updated. We expect, as I said, to have this meeting with the Foreign Relations Committee in the United States Senate. We expect to have an audience with the White House, and we expect nobody to sleep peacefully until we get justice for Shanquella Robinson. 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 Thank you. Thank you all.
See, that's what I'm talking about, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. That is the type of advocacy I want to see, which is why I'm so ecstatic that Ben Crump is on this case, because he said he's not going to stop. He's not going to sleep. He's not going to rest. He said he's going to have an audience of the Senate, y'all. This is a good thing. He said he's going to have an audience of the Senate, of some White House members, and I think he mentioned another one. I don't remember the other individuals he's going to have there, but that is really good, guys. Really good. What other attorney would you see doing all that? I'm sorry, I wouldn't see any of the other attorneys out there that are going to go that far, which is why he is the best person to be on the case. I heard some people say, well, he doesn't have extradition expertise, so he shouldn't be. Guys, some people who say that, I just have to laugh. He's not actually the attorney that's prosecuting the case, so he doesn't need to have all that detailed, intricate knowledge. He is the one that is advocating for them to get justice. There's different types of lawyers. He's not representing them as it relates to an actual lawsuit right now. He's just being their advocate. So that's a different type of advocacy he's doing. He's doing more of the vocal advocacy and trying to push the case. He's not actually even filing any lawsuits or anything. It's not going to be within the court as a criminal prosecutor handling the case, nor is he filing a lawsuit in any way. He's just the vocal mouthpiece and writing legal documents on their behalf to send to, or legal letters with the legal advocacy and the statutory language that needs to be pertinent, sending it to the appropriate officials involved, government officials. So he doesn't need to have all the extradition expertise and all that, what people are saying. And not only that, but he's an attorney. He can research that stuff. That's what we're trained to do. Okay. Just because you don't have a certain expertise, we are trained to research. That's one of the intricate roles of an attorney is research. Okay. He's not, just because he doesn't have the expertise in extradition doesn't mean he can't pull out a law book or research on Westlaw or Lexis or one of those legal avenues to find out the information. Okay. So I needed to say that because I had somebody in the comments talking about, I'm not trying to hate on Ben Crump, but I don't think he's the right person for the job. Girl, bye. Whoever said that, girl, bye. Girl, completely bye. That is, to me, I just don't understand that comment because he's the best person. I don't see any other attorneys out here going as far as he's going. He's going all the way to the White House. He's taking it to the Senate. Let me know of any other attorneys that do that. I don't see any. I'm sorry. I just don't. I'm trying to think. Y'all gonna have to let me know. I'm trying to think off the top of my head if I could think of one. Maybe if I find it out later, I'll put it in the comments. But I haven't thought of any other attorneys at this time who are fighting for civil rights and equality under the law, equal justice, that is fighting as much as this man is, y'all. I'm just saying. Just saying, y'all. Just saying. It's going to be a long, long time coming. But I know, whoa. Change is coming. You know that song, right? That's why I'm just so sad. I'm sorry. I'm with Mar R. I'm done with this administration. Y'all don't get mad at me. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just done. I'm all done out. Okay. Oh yeah. Thank you for giving me a name. Okay. Yeah. Vanessa Gillen's attorney was dope too. We got to give her a shout out. She was awesome. I agree with that, Mar. Thank you, girl, for reminding me. Yes. Vanessa Gillen's attorney was off the hook. She was another powerhouse attorney. Girl, that girl is amazing. I hope to see more from her because that woman was off the hook. Yeah, so we do have her. Thank you so much, Mar, for reminding me of her. I remember her. She was captivating and absolutely effective in what she did. But was she really effective? I didn't see much come out of that case. In fact, another soldier died, another woman was brutally unalived at that same location just recently. I haven't done the case yet, but I'm going to have to talk about that on YouTube with y'all sometime soon. But another woman, same circumstances happened to this woman. She was being harassed by her superiors and she ended up being murdered, y'all, recently. So I haven't seen much come out of that, y'all. We're still seeing these young ladies being unalived at that particular base over there in Texas, y'all. That is just, I haven't seen much justice there. It's very sad, y'all. Very, very sad. So we need to fight more for our soldiers also, or female soldiers. I need to cover that case. I'll have to cover it soon for you guys. I gotta go back and find, maybe hopefully I could get to that case soon for you guys. But that one was sad if y'all heard about that one. A young lady, just the same way, she was telling her mom that some superior was harassing her, and before you know it, the girl was unalived. Same thing happened to Vanessa Gillen, and they haven't even resolved the case. And it hasn't been in the limelight either. I haven't heard much about it. I heard one coverage of it, and that's about it. Which is sad because what they do is they're trying to hide these cases under the rug so that nobody knows and nobody talks about what's really going on at that location, y'all. Like Christine said, they're going to try to cover that up too. Girl, it is very sad. It is very, very horrific what's going on in our with our soldiers and stuff. It's sad. It's kind of scary. That's why I was trying to tell girls when I talked about the Vanessa Gillen case to boycott. Don't go. Sorry. Don't join the army. Don't join the military. I know y'all love that stuff. Don't join it because it's just not safe for you. They're not looking out for your interests. There's a lot of sexual harassment. Women are getting unalived over there and they're burying it under the rug. When you try to claim sexual assault or whatever, or sexual harassment, they will just bury that under the rug. But as I could say, I'm very proud right now. Let's go back to Shanquella Robinson. I'm very proud of what Ben Crump and his team is doing right now. They're going around doing these press conferences. This was an amazing one to have one at a HBCU. It has a very symbolic, purposeful meaning because Shanquella Robinson went to an HBCU. So that's what makes it such a wonderful power move for them to do that at a HBCU. And there's a lot of people backing and supporting it. So I think that's pretty incredible. And what else did I like? I liked that they're going to be having this this meeting with the White House and the Senate and other people influence. I hope it does produce some type of result. I hope so, because it sounds like the White House is passive and it doesn't seem like they're going to do anything, that they're going to just cower away and be like, we can't interfere. We can't interfere. That's all they say, y'all. But okay, y'all, have a good day. Hopefully I'll see you guys later. I missed all of you. Hello, all of the wonderful family in the chat. I'm sorry I didn't address all of you. Hello, hello, hello. I love everybody so much. Take care. Toodaloo.